In a vibrant meadow full of colorful flowers and tall green grass, there lived a small but brave bee named Benny. Benny was the smallest bee in his hive, but he was known for his curiosity and courage. One sunny morning, the queen bee gathered all the bees in the hive and announced that they needed more nectar to make honey. "But beware," she warned. "The dark forest is dangerous. Only the bravest should venture there." All the bees buzzed nervously, as the dark forest was known for its giant spiders, tricky traps, and confusing paths. Despite feeling a bit scared, Benny's little wings buzzed with excitement, and he flew forward saying, "I'll go, Your Majesty." The queen bee smiled kindly and said, "Be careful, Benny. Remember, bravery is not about not being scared. It's about doing the right thing even when you are scared." With those words in his heart, Benny set off on his adventure, flying into the dense, dark forest. The forest was filled with tall, twisted trees that blocked out most of the sunlight, creating an eerie, mysterious atmosphere. Benny buzzed cautiously through the dim light, his little eyes wide with both fear and determination. As Benny ventured deeper into the forest, he suddenly noticed a giant spider web stretched between two dark, gnarled trees. Trapped in the sticky web was a beautiful butterfly, her vibrant wings flapping weakly as she struggled to escape. "Help! Help!" the butterfly cried out, her voice full of desperation. Benny's heart raced, but he knew he had to help, even though he was scared of getting caught in the web himself. He carefully approached the web, his tiny wings buzzing nervously as he thought about the best way to free the butterfly. Remembering his stinger, Benny decided to use it to carefully cut through the sticky threads of the spider web. With precision and care, Benny started to cut the web, making sure not to hurt the butterfly. After a few tense moments, the butterfly was finally free and fluttered out of the web, her wings now moving joyfully. "Thank you, brave bee," the butterfly exclaimed, flapping her colorful wings with gratitude. Benny felt a warm glow of pride inside him. He had faced his fears and helped someone in need. Continuing his journey, Benny soon found himself at a fork in the path within the dark forest. One path looked dark and frightening, winding deeper into the dense forest, while the other was bright and welcoming, leading back towards the edge of the forest. Benny paused and thought hard, remembering a lesson from his bee school. The easiest path is not always the best path. Even though the darker path seemed scarier, Benny decided to trust his instincts and choose it, hoping it would lead him to the nectar he sought. The path was full of twists and turns, and Benny had to navigate carefully, avoiding traps and obstacles. As he flew further along the dark path, Benny's determination grew stronger, and he felt more confident in his decision. After what felt like a long journey, Benny finally emerged from the darkness and into a clearing filled with the most beautiful flowers he had ever seen. The flowers were vibrant and full of life, with petals in every color imaginable, and the air was sweet with the scent of nectar. Benny's tiny heart leapt with joy as he realized he had found what he was looking for. He quickly flew from flower to flower, collecting as much nectar as his little bags could carry. The nectar from these flowers was sweeter and richer than any Benny had ever tasted in the meadow. As Benny worked, he felt a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing that his bravery and wise choices had led him to this special place. On his way back home, Benny came across other bees from his hive who had become lost and confused in the dark forest. They were buzzing around in circles, unsure of which way to go, and their wings were tired from flying in the wrong direction. Benny, now more confident and knowledgeable, offered to help them find their way back to the hive. The lost bees were relieved and grateful, following Benny as he led them safely out of the forest. Along the way, Benny shared his story about the spider web and the butterfly, and how he had chosen the right path despite it being the harder one. And the other bees finally returned to the hive. They were greeted with cheers and applause from the rest of the colony. The queen bee praised Benny, saying, "You are the bravest bee of all, Benny. You faced your fears, helped others, and made wise choices." Benny blushed with pride as the queen continued, "You have brought back the sweetest nectar, and taught us all a valuable lesson. From that day on, Benny was known throughout the hive as Benny the Brave Bee, and his story was told to all the young bees as an example of courage and wisdom. And so, Benny lived happily in the meadow, always ready for the next adventure, knowing that bravery is not about being fearless, but about doing what's right even when it's hard.